They had no time. It's an ambush. Tell me Elizabeth slaps this dude. Welcome back, super friends and super family. I'm Nick, and today I'm reacting to Pride and Prejudice. I am very, very excited to be checking this one out. I'm familiar with the story of Pride and Prejudice, obviously based off the famous Jane Austen novel, which I haven't read actually, but I would like to eventually read some Jane Austen. I've heard her writing is very sharp, very interesting. But I'm familiar with the story because I've seen a long, long time ago when I was much younger, my family watched the miniseries Pride and Prejudice kind of together. So I've seen that, and I'm kind of a big fan of that. Obviously, Colin Firth playing Mr. Darcy in that miniseries. But for this one, I do know that Keira Knightley plays Elizabeth, so that should be a lot of fun. As exciting, or maybe even more exciting, I cannot wait to see Matthew Macfadyen. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but Tom Wambsgans. I'm a huge, huge fan of the show Succession. Just amazing, and Tom is one of the greatest, most interesting, hilarious, complicated characters of the whole show. If you haven't seen the show Succession, highly, highly recommend it. It's excellent. And Matthew Macfadyen just destroys that role, so I really can't wait to see him play Mr. Darcy, who is a very, very different type of character than Tom. If you know, you know. But as always, if you want to watch along the full unedited reaction, that is up on Patreon. Thank you so, so much to everyone who supports there. Let's just get right into it. Pride and Prejudice. I mean, come on. That is a great title card opening. So classy. I mean, this is heaven right here. Walking out on a day like this while reading a book, all you need is some coffee and that's perfection. Oh my gosh, that's what's her name from Gone Girl, right? Am I crazy? That's her.
Bingley arrived from the north. 5,000 single.
How can that possibly affect them?
Is that Donald Sutherland? Oh, is he the father? What perfect casting.
5,000 a year. It would not matter if he had warts and a leer.
Will he come to the ball tomorrow, Papa?
I believe so.
I mean, it's kind of cool how much energy and excitement there is just because the eligible bachelor is coming into town. Look at this home, by the way. Come on. Between those trees, does it get better than that? This is the music they used to play in the clubs back in the day.
One of these days, Lizzie, someone will catch your eye.
Tom will catch your eye. This is before Shiv came into the picture. Oh dang, the room gets quiet. Holy. When rich people enter the club.
And the person with the quizzical brow?
Friend Mr. Darcy.
The man himself. Oh, who's playing the sister? I know that actress too. She looks perfect for this role. Okay, good. We can relax and get back to the fun.
You must introduce him to the girls immediately.
You don't want to seem over-eager though, right? I love the difference in their expressions, like the extrovert and the introvert, side by side. He doesn't smile at all. I love it.
Oh, tell me quickly, my
Going to take the bed.
As in become a nun?
officers!
As far as the eye can see.
So many officers. Like a kid in the candy store.
Will you dance, Mr. Darcy?
Not if I can help it.
Same. Only Mr. Darcy gets to like full on pout at a dance party and still look pretty cool, man.
We are a long way from Grosvenor Square, are we not?
Hater. I kind of like her though.
You are dancing with the only handsome girl in the room.
The only one, please. You look straight at Elizabeth.
But her sister Elizabeth is very agreeable.
Perfectly tolerable, I dare say.
Tolerable? That's kind of harsh though to overhear that, right? I think she's hurt a little bit even though she's smiling.
It is a pity she's not more handsome.
Come on.
She's not holding back.
So much in love with her that I was sure he would make her an offer.
She looks so mortified. She's like, Mom, stop talking.
The power of poetry and driving away love.
I thought that poetry was the food of love.
Ooh, contradiction.
So what do you recommend?
Dancing.
Oh, ooh. Oh, dang, that shows she's basically saying, like, I overheard what you said. That's a mic drop right there.
Mr. Bingley is just what a young man ought to be.
Someone has a crush.
Conveniently rich. You know perfectly well I do not believe marriage should be driven by thoughts of money.
But it doesn't hurt.
I can more easily forgive his vanity had he not wounded mine.
That's really honest, wow.
Oh, really?
It's really cool how happy Elizabeth is with her sister. Like, even though her night didn't go as well, obviously, you know. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the dynamic from Practical Magic, which I reacted to.
When you die, Mr. Bennet, which may in fact be very soon, I'll...
Hopefully not.
A letter addressed to Miss Bennet, Mum, from Netherfield Hall.
That's like a text the next day, right?
This is from Caroline Bingley. She has invited me to dine with her.
Excellent.
Her brother will be dining out.
Oh, what? That's really odd, right? That's some mixed messages.
Horseback?
There's gonna be a storm. They can't afford the carriage or what? Call an Uber.
Your skills in the art of matchmaking are positively occult.
Oh, I see. That's pretty smart of the mom, actually. Okay.
If Jane does die, it'd be a comfort to know it was in pursuit of Mr. Bing.
Ballroom in the French style. A little unpatriotic, don't you?
Oh my gosh. Can't even do the French style. Also, look at this breakfast. I mean, come on, how elaborate. Hello, good morning.
Good Lord, Miss Elizabeth, did you walk here?
I did.
Good exercise. Getting her steps in. That's it? That's it? Just awkward silence after that?
How is my sister?
She's upstairs.
Come on. That's not a man who has no attraction.
Did you see her hem? 6 inches deep in mud. Positively medieval.
Did you see that it was Keira Knightley? No guy in the world would be like, oh, the hem.
It's a pleasure. Sorry, not a pleasure that she's ill, of course.
It's a pleasure she gets to stay here. The fact that he's so flustered around her speaks volumes, though.
It's all going according to plan. He's half in love with her already.
True, true. Is that one actress? Is she the girl from Hunger Games, from Catching Fire?
I cannot boast of knowing more than half a dozen women in all my acquaintance that are truly accomplished.
Oh, dang, he's got high standards.
Thing in her air and manner of walking.
And of course she must improve her mind by extensive reading.
That's a bonus.
Turn about the room.
I don't think I've ever lived in a place big enough where I could take a turn around the room. You know what I mean?
Caroline and I would interfere with either.
What can he mean?
The first way of disappointing him will be to ask him nothing about him.
True, he's trying to be intriguing.
Conscious that your figures appear to the greatest advantage by walking.
Ooh, I think there's some truth in that.
I'd always laugh at him.
Oh no, to Darcy is not to be teased.
Definitely someone you need to tease.
And would you consider pride a fault or a virtue?
That I couldn't say.
Really? Isn't it normally a vice?
Dearly love to laugh.
A family trait, I think.
Loving to laugh? Is that a bad trait? That's a good trait, right? Are you focused on the writing, bro? Are you?
Mrs. Bennet, a Miss Bennet, a Miss Bennet, and a Miss Bennet.
Dang, it's an invasion.
Receive every Bennet in the country.
Oh, I do hope you intend to stay here, Mr. Bingley.
And marry my daughter, please.
Oh, do hold a ball, Kitty.
Thank you for your stimulating company.
Pleasure's all mine.
The passive-aggressive energy is real, and I love it. Okay, come on. Oh, she noticed that too, right? Come on.
His name is Mr. Collins. He's the director.
Oh, Mr. Collins. Oh, I can't wait to see this character. He's hilarious in the miniseries.
Because the estate passes directly to him and not to us poor females.
That's so brutal, right? The inheritance laws. Oh, hello, Mr. Collins.
What a superbly featured room, and what excellent boiled potatoes.
What excellent conversation.
Since I've had such an exemplary vegetable.
I have never described a vegetable as exemplary.
To possess the talent for flattering with such delicacy.
The sarcasm from the dad, I love it.
The impulse of the moment, or are they the result of previous study?
I love how they're making fun of him and he has no idea. He's so oblivious.
Believe me, no one would suspect your manners to be rehearsed.
After dinner, I thought I might read to you all for an hour or two.
An hour or two?
Very eloquently on all matters moral.
I would rather die.
That the eldest Miss Bennet is very soon to be engaged.
That might be a little presumptuous, though.
Next to her in both age and beauty would make anyone an excellent partner.
Poor Elizabeth. Poor Elizabeth.
Collins is the sort of man who makes you despair at the entire How perfect you are! Picked up my handkerchief.
He looks a little bit like Orlando Bloom, which is funny with Keira Knightley.
Only a man truly confident of himself would admit to that.
No, it's true.
I also have poor taste in ribbons.
No, Mr. Wickham, please.
Ooh. Magic tricks and loaning you money.
Mr. Bingley, how do you like my ribbons for your ball?
Some bad blood between them.
What is the manner of your disapproval of Mr. Darcy?
Yeah, spill the tea.
His father, well, he loved me better, and Darcy couldn't stand it. Now I'm a poor foot soldier.
What a sympathetic backstory.
If it is not true, let Mr. Darcy contradicted himself. I hope never to encounter him.
That's not true.
Wickham is twice the man Darcy.
And let us hope a rather more willing dancer.
Just admiring the general splendour.
Good.
Look at her with that face. She's like channeling her inner Rachel McAdams or something. Oh, look who showed up. He's gonna find a way around for them to cross paths, for sure.
Lizzie, Mr. Wickham is not here.
Dang, he didn't come.
He must be here.
There you are.
But look who is here. Even better, Mr. Collins.
Perhaps you will do me the honor.
Oh.
Indulge in such an innocent diversion. You have complimented me on my lightness of foot.
Oh, I can't wait to see this lightness of foot. Every girl's dream, right here. Oh, dang, I like that. I like how the camera moves and stops.
May I have the next dance?
And for a man who doesn't dance, this is significant.
It would be most inconvenient since I've sworn to loathe him for all eternity.
Well, undo that vow.
I talked about the dance. Now you ought to remark on the size of the room or the number of couples.
But that's boring small talk, right?
I'm perfectly happy to oblige. Please advise me of what you would like most to hear.
Now we may remain silent.
This is such a meta conversation. It's witty flirtation.
Tribble and taciturn.
Ooh. That was a jab.
I hope to afford you more clarity in the future.
I really like the directing of this scene. How it just stopped on them right there. That was so cool too, how they cut that out and everyone disappears. What a stylistic little touch, man.
My esteemed patroness, Lady Catherine.
How many times is he gonna mention Lady Catherine in this movie?
Mr. Darcy. Mr. Darcy.
Oh dang, just ignores him.
What interesting relatives you have, Miss Elizabeth.
Interesting. What an interesting choice of wording there. I love her role so far. Her looks are just so killer and judgmental.
Blinded us long enough. And the other young ladies have a turn.
Oof. Oof. Shut down.
Clearly my family are having a competition to see who can expose themselves to the most ridicule.
Do forgive me.
The mom's having a great time.
We'll be having a wedding here 3 months, if you ask me, Mr. Bennett.
Don't count your chickens. What is that drink? He's descending upon them.
Private audience with Miss Elizabeth.
Certainly.
She's like, what is this conversation?
Mr. Collins can have nothing to say to me that anybody need not.
Oh, dang, dang. She's like, don't leave me alone with him.
But
Now?
He's like, I'm reading my newspaper. I'm comfortable. Do I really have to move?
Jane? Jane?
That look says it all.
Firstly, that it is the duty of a clergyman. Secondly, I am convinced it will add greatly to my happiness.
That's the most unromantic proposal.
You are too hasty, sir. You forget that I have given no answer.
True.
That Lady Catherine will thoroughly...
He's still mentioning Lady Catherine during the proposal.
You could not make me happy, and I'm convinced I'm the last woman in the world who could make you happy.
Oof, probably honest though.
I must conclude that you simply seek to increase my love by...
No.
Cannot accept you.
The mom can't believe it. Hey, they're just laughing. That's kind of harsh to him though, right?
Say you've changed your mind.
You cannot make me.
Mr. Bennett, say something.
What is he gonna say?
your mother will never see you again if you do not marry Mr. Collins. I will never see you again if you do.
Whoa. That's pretty cool. You can really tell they have a special connection.
I shall never speak to you again.
And it's easy to judge the mom, but honestly, back in the day, you can see her concerns for the future of the whole family, whether they can survive, right?
What's the matter?
What?
Jane?
What happened? I mean, look, I think the friend was right that Jane should have made it more clear that she liked Mr. Bennett, right?
To be incapable of willfully deceiving anyone.
False. Elizabeth's like, you don't. You're too naive, child.
He loves you, Jane. Do not give up.
Good advice.
Distinction amongst her companions.
I'm sure that will cheer her up.
And you have an affectionate mother.
I really like their dynamic. What's she gonna see? Who is that?
Clint and I are engaged.
Oh.
To be married?
Yes, what else?
Other kind of engaged, isn't there?
Yeah. She just can't believe it, though.
Shouldn't be as happy with him as any other.
He's ridiculous.
I'm already a burden to my parents, so don't judge me, Lizzie.
I don't judge her at all. I don't. I mean, back then, like, as a woman, you kind of needed to marry well to survive. But this must be making Elizabeth reflect, like, did I make a mistake? Do I need, should I have settled for that just to have that type of security for myself and my family?
I found many improvements, of course. I intend to throw out a bow and plant a lime walk.
Oh, dang, no one wants to hear Mr. Collins' plans for home improvement. They're already gone.
Such a pleasure to run my own home.
Well, that's good. She seems really happy.
Has the pig escaped again? Oh, it's Lady Catherine.
Ooh, important guest.
Do not make yourself uneasy, my dear cousin, about your apparel. Lady Catherine's never been averse to the truly humble.
He looks so nervous.
Precise in all of Europe, is it not?
That's her home, though, for real? I mean, there's rich, and then there's rich.
Your ladyship, Mr. Berg.
He's practically groveling. Judi Dench. Oh, the perfect person to play this role.
Rather alone cost upwards of £300.
Oh, what is he doing here? What are you doing
Mr.
here?
Darcy, what are you doing here?
I'm connected with all the wealthy people.
I'm a guest here.
You know my nephew?
Oh.
The younger ones out before the elders are married. Your youngest sisters must be very...
Hardcore judging her.
On my word, you give your opinion very decidedly for so young a person.
Well, you are asking her questions. What do you want her to do? Just smile and nod?
Sister's grown up, your ladyship can hardly expect me to own to it.
Dang. She's not intimidated at all. It's great.
Come, Miss Bennet, and play for us.
No, I beg you.
Music is my delight.
And she wants to put you on the spot.
I play poorly.
Come, Lizzie. Your ladyship demands it.
Yeah, she's not taking no for an answer. You're playing the piano at gunpoint. Coming over to keep you company while you play?
You, Miss Elizabeth, to know that I cannot alarm you even should I wish it.
What was my friend like in Hertfordshire?
Bro, step aside. Come on. Don't you realize what's happening here?
Even though gentlemen were scarce and there was more than one young lady sitting down without a partner.
Nobody beyond my own party.
Oh, and nobody can be introduced in a ballroom.
Oof.
I do not have the talent of conversing easily with people I have never met before.
He's a little shy.
You should take your aunt's advice and practice.
What?
Shall I call for some tea?
No, thank you.
He wasn't kidding about not being great at starting conversations. You can't just leave like that, dude. You got too nervous, though. Come on, it's pretty adorable.
To whom it may. There are many conveniences which other...
Oh, he has the most boring servants. His poor wife is being so dutiful.
Forgive me, through the intercourse of friendship also.
Come on, tell me he is not the best character in the whole movie.
He saved the man from an imprudent marriage.
Who was the man?
Oh, it was him, not the sister.
I think it was a family that was considered unsuitable.
Dang. Now she really is gonna hate him. Following her through the rain? What is this, the Notebook?
I'm willing to put them aside and ask you to end my agony.
I don't understand.
I love you.
Holy. She did not expect that.
Please do me the honor of accepting my hand.
I mean, this is much more romantic than Collins.
Believe me, it was unconsciously done.
Is this your reply?
Yes, sir.
Is she gonna say why she's angry at him?
Might I ask why with so little endeavor at civility I'm thus repulsed?
That is such a polite way to word it.
Excuse, but I have other reasons. You know I have.
What you did to my sister.
Perhaps forever the happiness of a most beloved sister. You deny it, Mr. Darcy.
No, he's not denying it. So he did, dang.
Because I believed your sister indifferent to him.
You were so wrong!
Sister hardly shows her true feelings to me.
I mean, I think he did it for a good reason. Like, he thought it was true.
Made me realize that you were the last man in the world I could ever be prevailed upon to marry.
Dang. Oh, is he gonna try to kiss her? Come on. The feelings are so intense right now.
Taking up so much of your time.
I mean, the emotions were running so high in that fight, right? And I swear, even though they were both being honest about, things they disliked about each other, and you could also sense the chemistry underneath all of that, like, they're so well spoken, it kind of sounds polite, even as they're, like, saying things that made them hesitate to want to go out with the other person. Oh, that's him? No way, he came... Was that real or was she imagining?
The father's death, Mr. Wickham announced he had no intention of taking orders. He demanded the value of the living, which he was given.
Yeah, see, I knew the full story with Mr. Wickham wasn't the way he described it.
When it was made clear he would never receive a penny of that inheritance, he disappeared.
Oh, dang, what a jerk.
Attempt to convey the depth of Georgiana's despair.
Oh, no wonder. Not only that with the money, but he broke his sister's heart?
Your aunt and uncle are here to deliver Jane from London.
How did things go? Did she meet up with Mr. Bingley at all?
I'm quite over him, Lizzie.
Oh.
If he passed me in the street, I'd hardly notice.
That's denial. Poor Jane, though. You can tell she's still hurt.
What news from Kent? Nothing.
Is she not going to tell him anything at all about what Darcy explained?
Lizzie, tell them what? Tell her! Oh, Katie.
What?
Do not take the trouble to check her. She will be fixed forever as the silliest and most determined flirt.
Yeah, it's kind of soiling the family's reputation right now.
In her stay in Brighton, the teacher, her own insignificance. Yet she can hardly grow any worse.
Dang, harsh words.
The glories of nature. What are men compared to rocks and mountains?
That savours strongly of bitterness.
Or lovesickness, right? I swear, this film is beautiful, and it's so artistically made, too. I didn't really kind of expect that style. I think it's very fitting for this movie.
Men compared to rocks and mountains.
Or carriages that work.
Mr. Darcy's home.
That's the fellow.
Oh, an excuse to go see Darcy?
I'd rather not. He's so...
What can she say?
so rich.
Down with the rich.
He won't be there anyway. These great men are never at home.
Where are they? Off hunting? Fancy sports? Gatsby sports? It's like your home is a literal museum or work of art. I mean, it's a palace. This is not a home. It's a palace. Is that a statue of him? For real?
Do you not think him a handsome man, miss?
Come on, he's not here. You can admit it. Okay.
Yes, I dare say he is.
Yeah, now she's no longer going to be thinking about the artwork. It's kind of crazy that like, you could just visit some wealthy person's home like this during this time period. I wonder if that's accurate. Like, tour the house, basically. That's crazy. Come on. Come on. This is not even fair. Where was this filmed, too? What an amazing location. How come only ladies we've seen kind of playing the piano as a performance? Did the men not play during this time period? It's gotta be Darcy. Oh, is it Darcy with a date? Oh, dang. Oh, dang, we got a crash zoom. Caught watching the couple.
No,
We would not have come
early.
if you knew
Some
you...
business with my steward.
Talking over each other. Perfectly awkward.
May I see you back to the village?
No. I'm very fond of walking.
Yes. Yes, I know.
It's like you told me and I remembered.
He's asked us to dine with him. He was very civil, was he not?
Very civil.
So you have to dine as well, Elizabeth.
Pleasant about his mouth when he speaks.
There is? Or are you just saying he's a handsome man?
He particularly wants you to meet his sister.
Oh, of course, right? Yeah, that's who that was. Okay.
Miss Elizabeth!
Dang, the sister seems like way more outgoing than Darcy over here.
My brother has told me so much about you. I feel as if we are friends already.
Well, dang, what a warm welcome.
Brother once had to put up with my playing for a whole evening.
True story.
So well.
Then he has perjured himself most profoundly.
Played quite well.
Oh, quite well is not very well.
Come on, that's flirting. He was nervously pacing. Oh, what? What happened?
Lydia has run away.
Oh, Lydia.
With Mr. Wickham. She's lost forever.
And if it's Mr. Wickham,
My father has gone to London, but I know very well that nothing can be done.
what could he try to do?
I always said they were unfit to take charge of her. You're all ruined.
Death by association.
Oh, Mr. Bennet will now have to fight the perfidious witch.
Perfidious? What an excellent word, man. I need to improve my vocabulary after this movie.
How could she do such a thing to her poor mamma?
She's too dumb. She's too young, you know. Just make mistakes like that.
Knows how much your uncle must have laid on that wretched man.
He truly is a wretched, horrible person.
Uncle must have been very generous.
Or someone else.
10,000, heaven forbid.
Father!
I don't know how much a pound is worth back in this day, too.
When you have 5 daughters, Lizzie, tell me what else will occupy your thoughts.
I think there's some truth in what the mom is saying, right? What a loser.
She might see the ring. And I bowed and smiled like...
Oh, she's so clueless to what is going on. The dad must want to punch this guy so hard in the face, but he can't.
Darcy. I shouldn't have said a word.
Don't ever tell her your secrets.
He paid for the wedding. Don't tell anyone. He told me not to tell.
It's perfect that Elizabeth finds out, though.
Time for writing.
you.
Tell me Elizabeth slaps this dude.
There didn't seem to be enough hours in the day.
Yeah, give him the cold shoulder. He deserves more than that.
Nothing else to do.
I wonder if when she's older, Lydia will realize, I mean, she must, like, she'll grow up and realize what actually happened there.
One seems so forlorn without them.
Oh. Oh, dang.
Mr. Bingley is returning to Netherfield. She expects him tomorrow.
Jane's heartbeat just increased.
Not that I care about him. Mr. Bingley's nothing to us.
Of course not, of course not.
Why, he thinks we should be interested.
Mr. Bingley!
Mr. Bingley?
They weren't ready. Text before you show up at someone's house, you know?
Mr. Darcy, very insolence of it. What does he think of?
Elizabeth's like, oh, great, oh, great.
Oh, my lord. You should have a seizure, I'm sure.
They had no time, it's an ambush.
Ribbons.
Mr. Darcy, Mr. Bingley.
They all got into position, very calm.
I hope that the weather stays fine for your sport.
I return to town tomorrow.
Oh, dang.
So soon.
Right away.
My Jane looks well, does she not?
Come on, the spark is still there between them, it's obvious.
Well, we must be going, I think. Very pleasant to see you all again.
That's a short visit.
We were going to walk in, and she was going to say, sit down now.
Oh. Someone got a little flustered. The pressure was too much.
Oh, it's a disaster.
Mr. Bingley?
He's practicing.
I've been so blind.
What do you mean? He's back, he's come again!
I mean, I realize who Darcy really is.
But I would like to request the privilege of speaking to Miss Bennet.
He didn't mess around this time.
Except you, Jane, dear. Of course.
I mean, obviously. Straight down on his knee. She's got to be thinking about Darcy.
1,000 times.
Oh, she's so happy.
Lord, for that, I thought it would never happen.
Tempers are much alike.
Yeah, they're both optimistic, happy people.
Here's 5,000 a year.
I really want to know how much that is worth in today's money.
I knew she could not be so beautiful for nothing.
It's like beauty really is a currency, especially then.
Can you die of happiness?
No.
You thought me indifferent.
Unfathomable.
What can I say? We can be clueless.
Oh, Lizzie, if I could but see you so happy, if there was such an odd man.
There is.
Mr. Collins has a cousin.
Coming!
In the middle of the night, it can't be Darcy, right?
Catherine.
In the middle of the night?
You have a very small garden, madam.
Oh, straight to the insults.
That you intend to be united with my nephew, Mr. Darcy.
Who said that?
If you believed it to be impossible, I wonder you took the trouble of coming so far.
True.
Has it not been industriously circulated by yourself?
I have never heard of it.
Yeah, who did start talking about this?
You may ask a question which I may choose not to answer.
Way to stand up to her.
Are you engaged to him?
No.
I am not.
But just because I refused.
You have insulted me in every possible way and can now have nothing further to say. I ask you to leave immediately.
Yes, dismiss her. Just because she's rich doesn't mean she's going to treat you like that.
I have never been thus treated in my entire life.
Too bad. I'm curious who started that rumor, though. Like, who would have talked about that? I mean, we can sense the chemistry watching, but I didn't say anything, I swear. Oh, someone else is up early for a morning walk. Is he coming to see her?
My aunt.
Yes, she was here.
How can I ever make amends for such behavior?
By showing up, that's a pretty good start.
Surely you must know it was all for you.
Yeah.
If your feelings are still what they were last April, tell me so. Well, my affections and wishes have not changed.
Her feelings have changed.
You have bewitched me, body and soul. I love you.
Huh.
Never wish to be parted from you from this day.
Alright, come on. Come on. You thought the other proposal was romantic. This one just took it to the next level.
Your hands are cold.
Mine are too. What are you afraid of?
Shut the door, please, Elizabeth.
Oh, did he just ask for the father's approval?
Out of your senses. I thought you hated the man.
Things have changed.
You would have more fine carriages than Jane.
Take that, Jane. It's a competition.
I love him.
The dad is so surprised.
You don't know him, Papa, if I told you what he was really like.
What he had done, yeah, how he's helped you guys.
It must have been wrong. It'll be the first time, will it?
Not with Elizabeth, no.
We misjudged him in every way, not just in this matter.
Don't judge a book by its cover, or a brooding, handsome man by his rudeness.
We've been so stubborn.
That's true.
You really do love him, don't you?
You're so happy for her. Thank goodness you refused Mr. Collins, right? Can you imagine?
Give my consent.
Elizabeth is definitely his favorite. right? I swear Donald Sutherland is such a good actor.
My pearl for Sundays.
And Sundays only.
You may only call me Mrs. Darcy, incandescently happy.
He's gonna call you Mrs. Darcy right now.
Mrs. Darcy.
What the actual fuck? You proposed to me?
Perhaps no? Mrs. Darcy.
What a build up to the kiss. They save it for the very end, I'm assuming. Joe Wright. Good directing on this movie. I need to look up more of Joe Wright movies. All right, so that is Pride and Prejudice. That was a really, really good movie. I was impressed. I mean, obviously, like I said, I've seen the miniseries before, so I remembered most of the big story beats that happened. And I have to praise the casting of this movie because I think, obviously, Keira Knightley as Elizabeth, she did an excellent job. This might be my favorite performance of hers. I haven't seen a ton of her movies. I've seen her in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and I think she does good in those, but I feel like a movie that's a little bit more serious with a more complicated character like Elizabeth, you really need a strong lead to help carry the story for everything to work. And I think she really captured some of that strong spirit. You know, Elizabeth is really, you know, from my understanding of her character, someone who's ahead of the curve as far as like women in that time period. Like she really is independent, very intelligent, very strong-willed, the exact type of person who is actually a perfect fit for Mr. Darcy. And speaking of Mr. Darcy, I have to praise Matthew McFadyen, who, you know, like it was fun to see him. Like I said, I know him as Tom Wamsgans, but so different. The contrast of the performances really speaks to his talent. Like if you saw this performance of his first before you see him play his character in Succession, it would be difficult to imagine him playing that type of character. And it's almost vice versa, but he owned the performance so well, Mr. Darcy, that I almost like accepted him very, very quickly, if that makes sense, which is like a praise to kind of the range he can pull off because his character could not be much different. And then I think Donald Sutherland was excellent casting choice for the father. I think he really brought a lot to the role, and it was really important too because I feel like there's a lot of story beats that need to happen, and in the runtime of a movie which doesn't have as much time as the full like miniseries, for example, there's a lot going on. It could be easy to feel like over edited or feel like, you know, a character didn't have enough time, but I feel like they did a really good job kind of spreading that out. Like the scenes with Donald Sutherland were maybe shorter, but they were very meaningful and very impactful thanks to the performance. There's just great side characters throughout. I mean, I'm blanking on the actress name, but the actress, Rosamund Pike, I remembered it finally. But her playing Jane, I thought she did really good as kind of the optimistic older sister who's known as like the beauty of the family. The mother was great. Mr. Collins was amazing. I mean, I'm so glad Mr. Collins wasn't pushed off to the side because he's such a colorful, entertaining character, and they really had some good, awkward, hilarious scenes with him, including the proposal. I love how in that proposal scene, Elizabeth is just like begging someone to stay in the room with her. Judi Dench was great as Lady Catherine, you know, just this super wealthy, judgmental lady who really looked down on the Bennett family for being poorer. And I'll just say, as a side note too, like, the Bennett family was kind of poorer for that time, but still, I mean, look at their property. Their property was amazing. We're talking levels here. The truly poor people of that time period would look at the Bennetts as someone who's very well off, right? But it's just a matter of perspective. There's always someone richer than you, always someone who's looking down on your small garden. Like I see that small garden, I'm like, this home is unbelievable. Look at this location. You're growing up in such a beautiful area. But Lady Catherine is kind of so obsessed with that status and that appearance and lavishness of her lifestyle. I don't think it's a real appreciation for art and beauty as much as it is a flex. And so, of course, she kind of looks at the Bennetts as unworthy. And to be fair, like I feel like a large part of her resentment towards Elizabeth was that she wanted her daughter to end up with Mr. Darcy. You know what I mean? Like she was probably really concerned about her daughter's future, right? Which actually kind of ties into a theme I feel like very prevalent in this movie, and I really appreciate what they did, is they didn't modernize the story, if that makes sense, right? Like back in the day, this is what it was like for women. Like marriage was a very important thing for a family to survive, you know, like nowadays, like dating and marriage is still obviously important. You know, every father wants their daughter to have a good marriage. You know, every woman would love to find the perfect Mr. Darcy out there, but there was a lot more at stake, you know what I mean? And there weren't a lot of options for a woman who didn't get married, right? So it's like the pressure is just compounded in these moments, which is good for a movie that's all about the romance, that there's higher stakes for like, oh, who's going to end up with who, you know? But really well executed movie, and I actually think my favorite aspect of it, or at least the most impressive aspect of it, was the directing. Like I said, this just, I was expecting kind of like a period piece with beautiful costumes and like a nice romantic story with good dialogue, because that's, I think most of it's taken from the book, and Jane Austen is a very talented writer. But I was very impressed with the directing. Like, there were some really good visual sequences. I mean, obviously we're taking in some just beautiful landscapes and beautiful locations and houses and fancy things like that, but there were a lot of really impressive one takes that helped us just feel immersed in the world and sink into the story. And then on top of that, there are just some really artistic shots that kind of put us in the moment and the emotions that Elizabeth is going through, since fundamentally that's Elizabeth's story and we're kind of feeling the whole world through her lens. But really, really well executed movie. Definitely a lot of fun. A lot of funny moments too, you know what I mean? Was I the only one laughing along? I feel like there's some really good, well-written humor, even though it's kind of a dramatic love story as well for how the family is going to secure their future and, you know, the will they, won't they of Elizabeth and Darcy throughout. Really, really enjoyed that movie. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. As always, the full unedited reaction is up on Patreon if you care to support and watch along with me. Thank you for watching, and as always, remember, be active, be mindful, and be a hero. Or be a Mr. Darcy if you can.